We are now streaming live on YouTube. I'm sorry, I had it muted. We are now streaming live on YouTube. Today is October 7th, 2024. I'm Judge Case Johnson. This is the State of Georgia versus Alton Watley, charged in warrant number 2024 CW 70007, sexual battery, and 2024 CW 70008, armed robbery. Representing the state is ADA Thomas. Representing the defendant is Attorney Javaric Rogers. Your witness, ADA Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer, is it Destave or Destave?
Destave.
Destave, could you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the evidence you shall give before the court today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Put your hand down and state your name for the record.
My name is Officer Valencia Destave.
How are you employed?
I work for Clayton County Police Department.
And were you so employed in that capacity on or about the 3rd day of January 2024?
Yes.
Did you have occasion to respond to 4472 Ryan Road?
Yes.
Is that within the confines of the city of the neighborhood of Connolly, Clayton County?
Yes.
And did you come into contact with an Alton Watley on that date at that location?
No.
What brought you into contact with Mr. Watley?
I never made contact with Mr. Watley on that day.
How did he come to be arrested to your knowledge?
I took out warrants for his arrest.
Did you respond to that location on that date?
Yes, I did.
He was not present when you responded?
No.
Okay. So how did he come to be charged? Who did you come into contact with?
I spoke with the witness. I'm sorry, not the witness, the victim, Miss Swanson.
You don't have to name her. We're on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay, but you came into contact with the victim at that location?
Yes.
And that victim is listed in the incident report?
Yes.
Okay. And when you spoke with that victim, what did she tell you, if anything?
She told me that there was her sister's boyfriend's friends came to the resident and asked her for $40. She told him that she didn't have $40. So he started touching up on her and feeling on her in search for money. So.
And when you say touched on her, feeling on her, what do you mean? I'm sorry, sir.
I don't know if it's just mine, but I can't see the officer.
Yeah, I can't either.
Right here.
See, I can, but she has her phone positioned so that it faces up.
There you go. That's better. That's better.
I'm right,
Thank you.
Right here.
Okay. All right. We got you now.
Okay, now you're frozen.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. Don't move it.
I was just sitting still. Yeah.
Okay, so the person that she's referring to, her sister's boyfriend, is that Alton Watley?
Yes.
Now, he asked her for money. Is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
She didn't give him any money?
No.
And I believe where we got where we stopped at him touching on her?
Yes.
Where did he touch her?
The victim stated that he touched her whole body in terms of putting his hand under her breast and feeling on her breast in search for money, and feeling on her stomach.
Did she give him permission to touch on her and feel on her?
No.
What happened after that?
She stated that he went into the kitchen and grabbed a knife and started telling her to give him money. She didn't give him any money, so he went and hit her on the head and grabbed her purse and dumped everything out, took her wallet, her ID, and her keys, and left the residence in a black car.
And did she indicate how much money that he actually took from her?
$400.
That's what was in the wallet?
That's what the victim stated to me.
And at the time all this happened, he still had the knife?
No, at that point, after he was yelling at her, she said that he put the knife down.
Did she feel threatened?
Yes.
Did she ever give him permission to dump out her wallet and take her possessions, including the money?
No,
Did he ever return anything to her by the time you had arrived? Had any of that stuff been returned?
no,
Did he intentionally move his hands over her person, including fondling her breast and her stomach?
from what the victim stated.
He did it deliberately.
Yeah, because he was in search for some money.
And at the time that he took her money and her the money, the wallet, her ID, and her keys, she was afraid she could be harmed by the knife. Is that what you're?
Objection, Your Honor, that's leader.
Yes, please rephrase.
Yes, ma'am. When her possessions were taken from her, was she afraid?
She was afraid.
And was she afraid of the knife that he had?
I just knew she was afraid. I'm not sure exactly at that time when he went her purse that he was afraid of the knife.
Also, objection anyway, it would call for speculation unless she's actually told her that.
Did she tell you that she was afraid?
Yes, she told me she was afraid.
Was she afraid that she would be harmed?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you recover a knife or anything from the scene?
Yes, I located the knife.
Did the victim confirm that's the knife that the defendant used?
Yes.
And I believe you already testified that, but just to confirm, he was not present when you arrived?
No, ma'am.
So what did you do?
Take out warrants for his arrest.
Is it your understanding, did you arrest him subsequently?
I did not arrest him. I took out warrants for his arrest.
Okay, so you never saw him that day?
No.
Okay. One second, Your Honor, I want to make sure. And I believe that Solid State has reserved right for redirect.
All right, go ahead, Attorney Rogers.
Thank you, Judge. Officer, it's the stave.
Está bien.
Stop it. Okay, I'm sorry. Officer, you're the lead on the case,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
and you completed a report, correct?
Yes.
And officer, I don't know if we have a little lag or anything. It seems like there might be. Can you hear me okay?
It's a lag. It's a lag. I don't know. It's not on my side.
As far as you know, is there any sort of video related to the incident, like either of the incident or ring cam, any sort of video that you're aware of? Looks like we may have lost the officer. Looks like. Officer, can you hear me?
She's still there, Your Honor. Her camera went out.
Okay.
Officer Destave?
Okay. I'm back. I'm back.
I
Okay.
think that is your device.
I think so, officer.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. We can't
No,
see you.
Officer, can
Can
you,
you guys see me now?
no, ma'am.
The camera's on. I can see myself.
Now,
we can't see. We can see you now. There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
okay. Also, I think the last thing I was asking was whether or not you were aware of any video related to the case.
No, the victim didn't provide any video.
Are you aware of any witnesses to any part of the case, as far as you know?
No, it was just the victim.
And so as it stands right now, I guess the only we'll call it evidence that you have saying that he was there is the alleged victim's account. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I want to ask about a couple of things that were said on direct / in the police report. On direct, you referred to, if I understood correctly, you said that whenever this alleged taking occurs, Mr. Watley he's not in possession of the knife at that point, correct? He's put the knife down, I think you said.
When what was taken?
When the items that you mentioned were taken, I think what you said on direct was that he put the knife down, and after that is when the wallet and keys and everything were taken allegedly. Is that correct?
From what the victim stated to me, yes.
And I just want to kind of put a little bit more detail on that. From what I read of your report, what it says here is that the alleged victim was actually in possession of the knife. Specifically, what it says is that Swanson stated that she grabbed the knife from Watley, and then that he hit her. Mentioned on direct that he hit her. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then after that, based on the report, is when the taking occurs as far as the part about the purse, the keys, the wallet, keys, and ID.
Yes.
As far as any of those items, were any of them recovered to your knowledge?
No.
So if I understand, so wallet and ID wallet ID $400. Did she tell you what kind of wallet it was? Like, is it like a Coach wallet, a Louis wallet? Did she tell you like any description of what the wallet?
She didn't go into details.
Did she give you any kind of detail about the denomination of this alleged $400?
It was cash.
Relevance.
Well, Your Honor, it's perfectly relevant if you're going to allege that somebody took something and she says he took
Overruled. Go ahead. Overruled.
So, also, you can go ahead. I'm not sure what your answer was. Did she tell you?
$400 cash.
Did she tell you the denominations like 20s, 50s, 10s? Like,
I'm going to renew my objection. The denominations of the money. Where's the judge?
Here.
Okay. The denominations of the money that the defendant took are not relevant to the actual taking. It could have been 4 $100 bills. It could have been 400 ones.
It's overruled. If she doesn't know, she just simply need to say she don't know.
Oh, so you can answer.
No, I don't know.
And as far as the identification of Mr. Watley, how was that, I guess, accomplished? As in, did she give you his name? Did she give you identifying info? How was that accomplished?
She provided his information.
And we say his information, what do you mean?
His name, first name, last name, date of birth.
You know, she got his what she would have gotten his date of birth?
From her sister.
Sound a little unsure. You're not sure? You just don't remember?
No, from her sister. I remember she was on the phone. She was speaking to somebody.
Okay. And if I understand correctly, I know you said you at least if I understood correctly, you've never spoken to Mr. Watley regarding this case, at least, correct?
No.
To your knowledge, has anybody from law enforcement spoken to Mr. Watley about this case?
I'm not sure. But I didn't.
And has there ever been any sort of lineup conducted, or either like a photo array or in-person lineup or anything for the alleged victim to view?
No.
Did she offer any sort of description about what Mr. Watley was wearing during the alleged incident?
I don't recall.
No further questions at this time.
All right. Any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor, very briefly. Officer, did the victim indicate that she knew this defendant?
Yes.
And did she indicate that he, in fact, took her money, her wallet, and other items from her person?
Yes.
And was she afraid that he would harm her with a weapon during that taking?
Yes.
And was that weapon, I believe you indicated, a knife?
Yes.
Did he also fondle her person, her breast, and her stomach area?
Yes.
Did he have her permission to do that?
No.
Your Honor, that's all I have at this time.
All right. Any recross?
No, ma'am, just argument.
All right. Closing arguments.
State reserves.
All right. Go ahead. Attorney Roger.
Thank you. Judge, number one, I'll be asking for a dismissal in total. For one, there's no evidence to support these allegations. All we have is the account given by the alleged victim in the case. There's no sort of ring video, no neighbor saying they saw the person there, nobody else is saying that they saw him there. There's no description about what he was wearing, anything of the sort to say that Mr. Watley was at that location on that particular day. Not to say that what's alleged occurred. He hasn't been found in possession of any items. There's nothing to connect him to anything that was allegedly taken. There's nobody other than the alleged victim putting him on the scene. Additionally, besides the request for a complete dismissal, to speak to the armed robbery charge a little bit more specifically, I would point out that the testimony is that at the time the taking occurs, Mr. Watley is not in possession of the weapon. Furthermore, on cross, it was even further clarified that the alleged victim was in possession of the weapon prior to the actual taking of the items as alleged. And I say that to say that if she's in possession of the weapon, then he's not able to use that to affect the taking. So at this point, even if you entertain the allegations as they were, my point is that would at least at most amount to maybe a robbery by snatching because it was from our immediate presence. I'll concede that maybe that's been alleged, but then I'll fall back on my original argument that there's no basis to say that this occurred or that Mr. Watley was part of it. As it relates to sexual battery, Judge, I will point out that from my understanding of the testimony, the contact appeared to be in addition to the rest of the body in an alleged pat down or search for money or something along those lines, as opposed to being, of a sexual nature for some sort of sexual gratification or anything like that. So for those reasons, I would ask that all the charges be dismissed for lack of probable cause, or at the most, that the armed robbery be reduced to a robbery by snatching.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Thomas.
Your Honor, state will start with the first count of sexual battery. Well, actually, I'll start with the armed robbery because they segue into each other. Your Honor, regarding the armed robbery, this gentleman, I'm going to backtrack. Start with the sexual battery, wrong order. This gentleman wanted money from the victim. He wanted money from this victim so bad that he attempted to fondle her person, her breast, and her stomach to see if she actually had money on her. He used a weapon, a knife, to try to intimidate her into giving him money. When she did not do so and was able to actually try to get the weapon from him, he snatched her purse, dumped it out, and took the things that he wanted before leaving. At all times, she felt threatened and intimidated by his presence and by his actions. She did not voluntarily give him anything. State will contend that sufficient testimony has been presented by the officer to indicate that she was in fact robbed by force, armed robbery, because of the presence of the weapon, and also because he actually struck her during the robbery, and that he is also sufficient probable cause for the charge of sexual battery when he fondled her breast and her stomach, trying to get money from her. All of this in an attempt to take money from her, which he did in fact do. State would ask the court to transfer this case to the Superior Court.
Right. Based on the evidence presented, I do find that there is sufficient probable cause to bind over both of these charges to the Superior Court of Clayton County. That's the order of the court.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer, you're